mentoring program that the Women's Business Center at the Chamber has to teach women business owners how to do a marketing plan, because lots of women business owners go into business and want to make money, want to be entrepreneurs, but they don't know how to market, and they end up being barraged by all the people out in the world that try to sell marketing pieces, whether it's yellow pages or advertisements or rolling billboards or whatever, and they don't know what works and what doesn't because they're not marketing people, they're business owners. So Michelle does a great program, and I've seen it twice at Marketing Matters, and I think it's awesome. She's a specialist in incremental marketing, leveraging the internet for her clients. She works for a lot of agencies who contract with her because they don't have a specialist on their team that does what she does. So she's very complimentary in the advertising, marketing, PR world that I live in as an agency person. And so I'm going to bring up Michelle and let her give you all the scientific stuff about the internet that maybe you never thought about.
Maria,
thanks very much.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And go ahead, keep eating, enjoy your lunch. Fantastic time today. Open up my presentation so I know what I'm talking about. That's always good. No, I don't need a network. Thank you, computer. I am Michelle Chance-Sangthong, and I realized today when I was looking at my presentation, I've actually been online since 1987. Well, that sounds pretty cool, and then I realized that was 22 years. And I don't know exactly how that happened, but now I've been doing online stuff for 22 years. And I've actually had jobs working on the web since 1996. Now, with that, you kind of say, well, how does this all relate and move into stuff? And I don't really know. I got to be honest with you. I worked for a transportation company as a webmaster for 9 years and had a lot of fun there. Had an opportunity to manage 17 different websites, and I took care of all of our search engine optimization, took care of all different websites and projects when things needed to happen. But I started this small retail business for my family, and it just began part-time, and it was online. And that was about almost 9 years ago now. And I left my corporate job. And the last year that I was there, I actually generated about $2 million in leads, all from online activity, which was pretty exciting for the company. It's a pretty great time. And Joe DiMaggio, I think it says retire when you're doing really well. And so I left the corporate world and went to run the retail business full time. Started doing networking opportunities like this, meeting with other business owners, and more was asked to speak and consult and talk about how the web works and how to leverage this internet thing for business. And in doing so, ultimately got coerced into creating an actual consulting and training company called Red Hawk Strategies. And so we have this retail company that I'm a part of and I'm still active in every day called CoolShoppingIdeas.com. And now have Red Hawk Strategies, where I create training programs and have opportunities to come out and speak with great groups like yours and have a lot of fun meeting other business owners. And I guess because I'm an entrepreneur at heart, it just made perfect sense that I would just go start another business. I started my first business when I was 9 years old. And so I've been in business for a long time. I won't even do the decades anymore. That's just not good. I'm not sure how that'll happen. And I am really excited to announce that my first book is at the editor right now. So I am very excited. The book, and Maria laughed, but the title of the book is called The Book on Incremental Marketing. And so really clear, right? You guys are in marketing and PR. Let's be very clear about what it's about. So I still like marketing, talking to crazy people though, because I think that's a meeting with crazy people. I think that's going to be a great title. So that's fantastic, right? So I'm really excited about that. So you guys came out today, enjoy a little lunch, have a little fun here, and I'm going to roll this out a little bit. I'll turn this a little bit so I don't have to back it up. How's that for you guys? Does that work for you? And you take a little time in your day to be here. So first I want to thank you for that, because it's really important for you, for your networking opportunities, for your learning opportunities, to have a chance to get out, learn, and network with other professionals in the area. So give yourself a pat on the back for taking time out of your day, because I know it's hard to leave work, even when you work for yourself, to get out and do these things. So go ahead, you can reach over, pat yourself on the back. And then I'm going to ask you to open your minds a little bit and put aside some of your preconceived notions about marketing and PR. And just for now, I'm not saying give up all your ideas. I'm not saying it's much harder to give this presentation to people in the marketing and PR world because they already know it all. And I mean that politely, don't misunderstand. Because they're like, Michelle, you're telling us stuff that I'm not so sure. But just put aside some of those preconceived notions and just open your mind a little bit and think about the possibilities here. So, what is marketing? I mean, what really is marketing now? You guys know? No? Okay, good. That's fine. That's perfect. No. Jeffrey Fox, who wrote an amazing book on becoming a marketing superstar, in his book he says it is the profitable identification, attraction, getting, and keeping of good customers. Now that doesn't say lousy customers. That doesn't say customers who don't pay. That doesn't say customers who are always in collections. But of good, and I like to say profitable customers. Well, that's great. So what is PR? Well, PR, and this is from Wikipedia. I have to read this directly so I get it right. Public relations is the practice of managing the communication between an organization and its publics. And I don't think that's the supermarket. That's the multiple publics that it is talking to. But what I really like about the quote from Wikipedia is, it is something that is not tangible. And it is something, and this is what sets it apart from advertising. Right? Because PR is about things you don't pay for to communicate. We now kind of have a challenge because marketing is sort of this overarching thing, right? Everything we do to get and keep the right clients. Well, PR is a part of that. Sometimes PR is about crisis management. Sometimes PR is about simply branding things. But ultimately, the ultimate goal for any business is to attract new customers and make more money. Otherwise, they're not in business. I mean, that's just really true, right? Well, the weird thing about social media, though, now, has kind of messed this PR thing up a little bit. And the marketing thing up a little bit. The lines have kind of crossed, because if PR are things you're not paying for, and social media is marketing, but you're not paying for social media, is it all kind of melding now and becoming sort of this thing? And how are we leveraging it and understanding how to use it for our businesses, right? Because it almost is indistinguishable one from the other. Short of seeing an advertisement on a television, we get that's advertising, right? But the average consumer doesn't necessarily get that when you see Will Smith standing there with a can of Pepsi in a movie, that's still advertising, but it's not in that format, right? So for our clients, for our individuals, it's really becoming much more indistinguishable as to what is marketing, what is PR, what is advertising. And so I want to just kind of set that with you today, because I think it matters for what you guys do, not only in your own businesses, the companies you work for, but in marketing yourselves. Because if tomorrow you don't work where you work today, the only brand you have is you. I know that's kind of a harsh thing to say, but it happens all the time, right? I mean, there are people who are here today 5 years ago who weren't working for the same company they work for now. And so we have to think about these things in our brand and how we leverage this stuff. You know, and I think the other part that I'm fascinated with is it is easier now than ever to do PR. It is easier now than ever to do PR. There are more opportunities for you guys to promote events, to share information, online and offline, and it's so much harder to be heard than ever before. I mean, the opportunities are endless. I could stand up here and name 30 ways without even thinking that I could teach you or tell you places to go get PR and post-PR information today, right this minute. That doesn't mean you're going to be heard or seen. And so it's all in being creative about what you're doing, thinking again outside the box, and imagining that you're targeting the right people, the right audience, the right group. We are not casting, you know, one of the problems with social media is people think they're casting this really big net. Like, if you guys ever seen the guy shrimping and they take the net and they throw it, right, and they just drag in whatever they can get, you know, and then they kind of sort it out, see what they get. Well, social media is kind of used that way right now. Just anybody I can get. And I will tell you, I'll be the first one to admit, I'll friend anybody on Facebook who'll be my friend. I don't go out and look for friends like that, but if somebody says, I want to be your friend, I say, okay, because I don't know who they know. I don't know if they work for an agency. I don't know if their dad works at some agency somewhere and they heard about me, right? I have no idea. So I friend people until they don't behave, and then I will unfriend them very quickly. So I will cast a net in that way, but on the same time, I don't go out and try to promote myself to end clients because they don't know how to use me. They don't understand what it is I do, and they don't get that. So, we want to think about how you can look for creative ways to consistently do PR and marketing for your clients and for yourselves. And so this idea of incremental marketing, it's kind of, for me, it's simple. It's learning how to do daily activities or setting aside daily time so that you create cumulative results. So every day you have a planned time of day that you're doing a marketing or a PR activity, and it's at this set time, and you do it day in and day out. And whatever that activity is, it's a planned activity. It's not a shotgun approach, let's throw it out there and see what happens. We're not throwing a cast net, right? We're planning very clear, defined action. And tell me if this guys, if this fits for any of you. I just need to know this. And if it does not, I want you to be honest with me. PR professionals have greater skills, and marketing professionals have greater skills than their client to do marketing and PR. You can agree or disagree. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Marie's like this. This is the right move, right? Sometimes you are so busy promoting your clients, you forget to promote yourselves. All right? Is that agreeable? Okay. Yeah. Sometimes you create some amazing opportunities for your clients where you can piggyback on the PR and you just don't. And where it's not inappropriate, where it's not, a conflict of interest, and you just don't, right? And do we have any agencies here that sometimes just feel like their reputation alone is going to carry them? You don't have to answer that one out loud, just answer to yourself. But there are agencies in town, and I don't need to name their names, that they don't need to do these things because we're right? We're this agency name. So I don't need to do marketing, I don't need to do PR. I think they're wrong. I think each of us have to think about marketing and PR for ourselves and for our businesses. And so incremental marketing has two parts. One, you have to have money to do marketing, right? And even though PR doesn't cost money, you have to have money to do PR too. Whether people are hiring you, or hiring writers, right? Because people have to still write these stories that go to the journalists. Someone has to create this press release, so it costs money to do PR. It's just that PR doesn't cost money. Figure that one out for me. Help me out with that, right? So one of the things that I talk to clients about is that you need to set aside a budget for marketing. You need to have marketing dollars set aside. And they say, but Michelle, I do have a marketing budget. I said, well, do you spend from it? They go, no. You don't have a marketing budget, right? And so one of the ways, and this is the last time I have to give Sandra Brooks credit because now I've told it 3 times, so now it's mine. But Sandra Brooks told the story that when she first started her business, when she got her first check of $46.70, she took $4.67 and deposited in a separate bank account. And that was the beginning of her marketing fund. And after a few months, that 10% that she was setting aside, she now had a marketing fund when it was time to do advertising, when it was time to pay writers, when it was time to do these things that she could draw from. And so I would encourage you to think about that for your own agencies or for your clients, or for your clients who say, I don't have the money to do X. Teach them how to think about setting out a marketing budget from actual deposits and sales. Some of you guys have large clients where you're working with a very big basis. Some of you guys have worked with clients who are very small. But $1,000 now, if you're not doing print pieces, goes really far on online advertising, for instance, right? Or that'll write a good number of press releases, or that'll pay for online press releases for 5 or 6 releases. So think about how that works. And you have to keep that commitment. You can't say, hey, I'm going to set aside 5% this month and I'm not doing any next month. Decide what's going to work for you. 2%, 1%, whatever it is, but that way you and your clients can have actual money to do marketing and PR. It sounds kind of strange, doesn't it? Like planning and budgeting. It's a business thing. Why would we talk about that in marketing and PR, right? I mean, that's business stuff. Well, it matters because you can't pay for it if you don't have the funds. You can't pay for it if you don't have the funds. When you work for a big corporation, you guys work from a budget. I met some folks today who are from a larger company. You guys have a budget you have to stick to. These are our numbers for the year. This is where everything comes out of. You know, but smaller companies often don't do that. They write it down, but they actually don't have the money. They make the budget, but they don't have the money to actually do it. So, somebody laughed. Is that accurate?
Budget, but you don't have no, yes.
I mean, you write the budget in 2009, and in 2008 for 2009, you're planning, but nobody ever takes and sets that money aside and reserves it. Well, here's my marketing budget, but I don't have any cash. So think about that. The second part of this incremental marketing is the time. It's actually the time to do the marketing. And so whether it's you doing it for your own agencies, teaching your clients how to do it, teaching your staff how to do it, if you want to market your own company, you have to think about setting aside a specific amount of time every day to do it. And when I say a specific amount of time, I'm not talking about 4 hours a day. In some instances, it might be 20 minutes. 20 minutes a day in a week is 100 minutes, right? And I have some math later. This won't mean, I know you guys are marketing and PR people, we won't have too much math for you. But you know, it really will add up. And so we're going to talk about how you actually create this commitment. You write it down on a calendar. It's an unbreakable time of day for you. Right? It's a time of day that you're going to work on project A. And you're going to continue to work on project A until it's done. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Well, why does this matter? A lot of the clients that I work with right now simply could not handle it if 100 people called them today. If 100 new customers called them today, customers would be angry, customers would be unhandled. There's no way we can handle it. So what good is it for a small company to spend, even if it's end run, or even if it is remnant space on the web or remnant space in ads, to have 100 people call them because the ad that was on television last night, if they can only handle 3 new customers today? How does that help them? So this idea of incremental marketing, these small marketing efforts, create this trickle and flow of consistently new clients coming in for them. Create the opportunity for new leads. Create the opportunity for them to actually handle the leads that come in. So a new lead comes in, I can actually follow up with them, put them in my sales funnel, determine if I want to do business with them, determine if they really want to do business with me, and actually make a true and all sales effort out of it and marketing effort out of it. Right? Have you guys ever worked with a client where they wanted to do a mailing to 100,000 people? You know? And they had the budget to do it. They had the budget to print it, they had the budget to pay for it, they had the budget for everything. And they didn't have the manpower to handle it if something actually happened. What if something actually happens? So you guys are laughing. Am I off base here?
No.
Okay. So I want to send out 100,000 mailers, and I'm guessing that from this 100,000, I'll get a 1% return, and I have one person to answer my phone tomorrow morning after all these hit for this free offer of free ice cream. Right? So it all matters. It all works together and makes sense. Now, if you have something in scale, that's different. But people don't have that perception. That's where they have to rely on you guys to help them with that. When you are talking about planning for incremental marketing, this one really bothers people because they don't really want to market their own business. I mean, I want more sales, I want more customers, but I don't want to actually work. You know, I'm the owner of the business. I know how to do what I do for my business. I know how to sell what I sell, and I don't really want to be in sales. Sales is a nasty word, right? How many of you think sales is a nasty word? It's okay, we're among friends. You can raise your hand. It's okay. That's fine, perfect, thank you. Thank you guys for being honest. How many of you think profits is a nasty word? So just substitute, every time somebody says sales, substitute the word profits, and you'll get over it really fast. Really fast, really quickly. But when you're marketing your business, you have to plan this activity for your highest productivity time of day. Not the time of day when you're sleepy, not the time of day when you're down, not when you get to it, but you need to really think about planning a marketing event at a part of the day where you're at your best. You're talking about growing your business. You're talking about selling more of your product. You're talking about having an opportunity to talk to customers. How many of you guys like it when a salesman calls you and goes, "Yeah, Joe, yeah, you're just on my list to call, Dash. And I'm kind of my downtime today. Just everything. You need any more parts? How sexy is that? Not really. Not really very sexy at all. And so think about it. Other people tell me, well, I'm going to schedule that time for my marketing time after the kids go to bed from 8 to 9. Well, that's fantastic, but how many of your clients, when you're doing follow-up, are going to be at their desk between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m.? So you have to think about the highest time of day. That doesn't mean you couldn't do extra work at home, because this is a different economy, right? We're working differently than we ever have before in all kinds of businesses. But you want to make sure that you're not making excuses if you want to make it work and you want to grow your business. Just simply make the commitment. It might mean that you get up and leave the house 20 minutes earlier. It might mean that you stay at your desk 20 minutes later to do other things that you normally would have done from 9 a.m. to 9:45. But it is about that commitment to grow your business. So I hate to tell you this, but we are going to have a little exercise. I want you just to think in your head for just a minute. I have my little triangle here, I'm supposed to stay over here. If there was an amount of time that you could commit every day to marketing your business, would it be 10 minutes a day? Would it be 20 minutes a day? Would it be 30 minutes a day? Could you carve out very specifically? And if you work for someone else, very specifically to market your department or your marketing projects or whatever it is, be very clear. I don't want to tie you into some little tight knot here, but what it is, right? So think about that. Now, no matter what else happens today, what time of day would that be? What time of day works for you based on what's happening in your business, what kind of standard staff meetings are going on, when you typically schedule client meetings? I run 2 businesses. I have to maintain 2 schedules, and I generally know that this part of each day is reserved for company A, and this part of each day is reserved for company B, and then inside of company B it's reserved for company 1, company 2, and company 3. I have to be pretty structured, and sometimes I screw up. I do. It's honest. Is that okay to be honest? Hope so. Right? Now, considering your honesty with yourself, I want you to go ahead in your mind and say, starting tomorrow for 20 minutes, beginning at 10 a.m. or whatever the time is or how long it is, I'm going to begin thinking about marketing my business. Commit that to yourself. Commit that to yourself. So this is where we're going to do a little math. This is why I know you're wondering why I needed a board. I haven't written anything yet. We have to have it for the hard math. Okay, that's why we have the board today. So something I left out from Jeffrey Fox that he talks about is that marketing is everyone's job. How many of you are working a business where you're the only employee there? You're the only employee there. So no one here at this point. So you have other people, other members of your staff, other members of your team. Well, Jeffrey Fox in his book says, oh, you're the only one there. Okay, so she's the chief cook and bottle washer. Congratulations. I am too for one company. Everyone's job is marketing, according to Jeffrey Fox. Everyone's job is marketing. Any job that is not involved around the attraction, identification, getting, and keeping of good clients is temporary, unnecessary, or should be outsourced. Who knew? Wait a minute, we have production people. Well, they're involved in marketing. If they're putting packages that have been printed and brochures that have been printed and folded, and they're putting the tape on the box, they should be putting that tape straight on the box. They should be making that label nice so people are proud of those boxes. Somebody go, these are our new brochures. That's a part of marketing. That's a part of marketing, right? So here's the cool math. I don't know how many people on your team. This number works really well for this math equation, so you're welcome to change it if you're good at math and you can do it a different way, but I know how to do it this way, so this is the way I do the formula. Are you guys okay with that? If you commit to 20 minutes, and you may not be able to see this marker, but just trust me, the math will be good. 20 minutes a day, and you have 3 people on your team committing to 20 minutes a day, that is 60 minutes. Is that math okay for you guys? All right, cool. Well, I want to be clear. I want to make sure that you guys are marketing and PR people, so, Now, here's the really interesting part. There are, by the way, that's 1 hour, in case anybody doesn't know that. That's 1 hour. And again, keeping that simple, there are approximately 20 business days every month. Some less, some more, probably all more, but again, it makes the math easy. Well, that means that's 20 hours times 12 months is 240 hours of marketing in a year. Now, this is where it gets really tricky. Are you guys okay with the last number? Average workday is 8 hours in most places, or it used to be, right? So 240 divided by 8 is 30 days. If you can get 3 members of your team, or a combination thereof, to commit to 60 minutes, 1 hour of marketing per business day, 20 days of each month, 12 months a year, you're going to end up with 30 days of marketing over the course of the next year. So what do you think your business, your team, your clients will look like if you market them for 1 full month over the next year? Will things be different? And let's be clear, marketing the right things to the right audience with the right information, not just, I just updated Facebook, I just updated Facebook. Right, not that, but real marketing efforts, true marketing efforts. So, what do you think of this math? Is this okay? It's really weird, right? 20 minutes becomes a month?
Old math, but
it's old math. It is. It's really old school math, right? It's not really hard math. 20 minutes can become a month of marketing. And if you spent one month out of every year marketing your business, what would it look like in a year? Think about that. Think about that a lot. So how do we make this simple and easy? Well, you guys are already in the marketing and PR business, right? So you have the skills to do writing. You have access to people to do graphics. You have access to websites and tools and technology. So what I recommend is truly go out, and when I talk to regular business owners, I'll tell them to assess the skills of their staff. You guys should already know the skills of your staff. But in a regular business, they're often surprised to find out that they have bloggers, they have people who make YouTube videos, they have photographers, they have writers, they have people who are doing all these things on their own time, away from work, for their family, managing family websites. Yet this is the guy who's taping boxes in the warehouse. But he's got a Canon DS with a lens out to here, and he's got his family at the beach every weekend taking pictures. He's got a huge following on Flickr, right? And so this guy's taping boxes during the week. So assess the skills of your staff. You don't know who you may have now. It really is kind of different than what it used to be. And when you're doing marketing on the web, you don't necessarily have to have, a toe photography, excuse me, but for your internal business needs, perhaps you could use someone so you have a company office party, who's taking the pictures for your Facebook fan page, right? Because you want to look like a real company, right? Who's doing a quick video? Tasteful, useful, good stuff, okay? Not like the Domino's, not like the Burger King, not like the KFC, good stuff. Create a team marketing calendar. After you assess what these folks can do, figure out who's going to do what, right? So you have an actual real calendar. I recommend using Google Calendar because it's something that you all can share electronically across teams. And that works really nicely because you can assign projects and you can assign tasks and things like that. Then here comes the next sticky part. See, I know where all the sticking points are for people because I've given this presentation. Now, this is one of the most popular presentations I have ever given, ever. I've been doing public speaking for 10 years, and this has been requested more than anything else I've ever done. Very excited about it, which is why I'm writing the book on incremental marketing, right? So, you have to have accountability. You have to have accountability. You said you came today so that you could learn about doing more with less. You probably have people on your team who have more skills than you realize, even in the places where you already believe you know what people can do. Even when you believe you already know what they're doing for their job. I was very surprised by this the very first time. In 1994, I was working in an Office Depot as a part-time job. And Jim Bob came in, and Jim Bob had 3 teeth, one here, one here, one here. And he was looking for a 3rd network card because he had a network setup group of doom at his house in 1994. All right, this is, help me with math, 15 years ago. So this guy who, if I met him on the street, I would assume probably wasn't really doing a great job working on the cars he was working on, let alone able to have a networked game of Doom going on in his house. He had computers set up in every room. He knew more about the equipment than I did, and I'd been tech support and computers at that point for 8 years. And I had no idea what he was asking for. Do what? You have a network at your house? You know? He goes, yeah. So we don't want to assume what people can and can't do. So you can have an assessment meeting, but then you have to have the schedule, and then you have to have accountability. You have to have that time, whether it's weekly or every 2 weeks, where people check in and go, I did all my tasks this week. I didn't do all my tasks this week. If you didn't do all your tasks, why? Because it's only 20 minutes a day. And if you can't find 20 minutes a day to help us grow our business, why are you here? Why are you a part of this? Now, working one-on-one with one client in this, we ran into this problem. We came in for a staff accountability meeting. I actually have done this program one-on-one, coaching individual business owners and their staff. And they told me in one of our meetings, they said, Michelle, we just haven't had time to do it. I said, I don't understand. You committed to do it. You said you would have the time to do it. It's not that you missed one day, it's that you haven't done anything in the last 10 days. Right? 10 days. We've been very busy. Okay, well, let's talk about what very busy is. What I discovered, they worked in the real estate industry. What I discovered was that they had been so slow for so long that their new state of normal had shifted drastically. So at one point, and we talked about this, we said, okay, tell me how many cases you can handle at a time. And we worked it out, and they said, we can handle 40 open files at one time. I said, how many open files do you have right now? They said, we have 20. So you're telling me that you could handle 40 open files, you weren't working extra hours, you weren't crazy, it wasn't harder, but now that you're doing 20, you can't fit 20 minutes a day into doing your work. And they said, we see what you're trying to do. I got in trouble with the staff, that's okay. But they had to honestly look at what had become their new normal as employees. Their new normal as staff members, because business has been slow, the economy's been down, real estate's been slow. So what I happen to know is the day before I came and had that meeting, the day I came and had that meeting, the day before, one of these staff members had been in the other person's office because the boss can hear. Now I tell you, it's the boss's responsibility to go out and to get back to work, right? But they sat at their desk for 2 hours gossiping about the night before. But they didn't have time to do the 20 minutes. So I'm not saying beat your staff up. I'm not saying beat yourself up. I'm saying talk about accountability. Talk about this new normal that people think they don't have the time to work because they haven't been busy before, because all our businesses matter. Our businesses count on having new business come in, you know? So, is this helpful and useful? I see nods. I want to make sure I'm on the track. Or is it okay that I'm still here? I'm not going to be thrown out in the middle. No one regrets inviting me today so far? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So, a couple little points on that, and then I'll get to the wrapping up stage. If you miss today, today is gone forever. If you don't do your 20 minutes of marketing today, you can no longer get today back. Now, you can do 40 minutes of marketing tomorrow, but my bet is that you won't. Once you get rid of today, tomorrow is going to be really hard to do 40 minutes. Well, maybe part of your marketing today is networking here, so you're here an hour and a half, so I'm not going to network tomorrow. Well, guess what? Now you're out of the habit of marketing your business every day. This is a little mind shift. This is a little mind shift about changing how you think about marketing your business, setting up PR, and doing these things. And you have to really think about that. So it is about doing it every day, but don't beat yourself up. If something happens and you can't do it today, start again tomorrow. Start again tomorrow. Do everybody know what kind of clients they have? Do you know what kind of clients you have? There's only 3 kind of clients. 3 kind of clients. Did you know that? Did you know there were only 3? No? Okay. This is interactive. You guys want to be warm and social. You can talk back. It's okay. There are only 3 kind of clients. Clients who have never, ever done business with you. Clients who are currently doing business with you. And clients who used to do business with you. That's it. There are no more. So if you can tell me, if you know of any others, tell me, but that's it. There are no more, right? Either they have it, they are, or they aren't anymore, right? So when you're thinking about your marketing, think about how you do business with these people. I encourage people to think about their VIPs. Everybody knows the Pareto principle? See, that's another math thing. I should have known that. You do know this when I put this up there, you'll know this. Everybody knows the 80-20 rule. 80% of the work gets done by 20% of the people, right? 80% of your customers give you 20% of the profit. 20% of your customers give you 80% of your sales, profits, whatever. They all interchange. Bill Bartman, also known as the billionaire you've never heard of, talks about this idea of having 20%ers work for him. He goes, if only 20% of my staff is going to, if 20% of my staff is going to do 80% of the work, why can't I hire only 20%ers? Who knew? What a great idea, right? So now they have 160% of the work being done, I guess, all right? If you do the math, there's more math in that than I want to do. So I'm actually really good at math. I've just gotten out of the habit of it, and so I try to do it as little as possible. Well, think about who your 20% clients are. Who are the clients that are most profitable for you, are the easiest to work with? When the phone rings and you see it's their number, you're excited to answer the phone. And you have to put all those together, because sometimes we really like talking to people that aren't making us any money. And sometimes there are a lot of people we babysit that do make us a lot of money. And we have to decide what those clients look like. So I encourage you, as you're thinking about your incremental marketing, figure out who your VIPs are. And you should be giving your best marketing to your VIPs. Your best marketing should be going to your VIPs, right? That doesn't mean you can't send out a mail campaign, but for your VIPs, maybe you should pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, we're having an event this weekend. We would love to have you join us. It'd be great to have you here. And when's the last time they got a personal call from you? I actually believe your VIP list should be very short, 10 people, 15 people. And notice I said people, not businesses. People, not businesses. Because people don't do business with businesses. People do business with people they like and trust, right? So people, find a way that you're in contact with your VIP at least once every 5 to 6 weeks. Personal phone call, email, handwritten note, invitation, clipping. You guys, okay, you guys are here. Somebody who's going to know who this is. Bacon's Clipping Service. You guys are not, thank God somebody finally remembers this. I've been doing this presentation, people are like, bacon? Bacon, like the commercial bacon? No, not Bacon's Clipping Service. So now we have Google Alerts, right? So Google Alerts can do our clipping service for us. And we find out when our client's name is in the news, whether we placed it there or not, and we can send an email saying, hey, congratulations. Saw, the landing just landed a new client. They're in my site, so I picked them, right? So you can use these kind of ways to stay in touch with people. Let's talk about a couple of, we're getting close to your time here, and I'm going to wrap up, but talk about a couple of online tools or offline tools that are free and simple to use. Networking. How many of you, does everyone here know everyone here today? No, okay, so my guess is you should probably get to know one person before you leave if you didn't know them before you got here. Because networking events, I know this is going to shock a lot of people, especially those happy hour style ones. They are not for drinking with your friends. Nope. Networking events are an opportunity for you to get face-to-face with people who either can give you business or can send business to you. And let's be sincere and authentic. I'm not talking about sucking up for the sake of sucking up, okay? I don't mean it that way. Whenever I'm talking about being sincere and authentic, because that matters. But you need to plan, I tell people, take only 3 business cards to a networking event and pretend like there's a $100 bill attached to each one. If there's a $100 bill attached to your business card, who are you giving it to? Who are you thinking, in this room, who should I be talking to? And I have another tip for you. This happens to a friend of mine who happens to be the leader of a particular organization. And she goes, I never get to network because people always need me for things. I said, try this. When someone comes up to you and say, we need you for X, and you're talking to a prospect, look at them and say, John, I'm more than happy to help you. I've just met Joe here. He's new to our organization, and I'm going to spend a few minutes with him. Will it be all right if I get with you in 10 minutes? What are they going to say? If it's an emergency, they'll say, you know, really it's an emergency, I need you now. And you can decide. But why would you allow business during your networking time that you're working with your prospects to take you away, and all of a sudden you're in this organization to grow your business, to network yourself, to brand yourself, but you're running around chasing all the fires and problems, you know? And maybe you do have to have someone who helps you with those things, but think about that when you're at a networking event. Know who's going to be there before you go. After you meet someone at an event, send them a handwritten note card. I heard this idea the other day. Keep stamped envelopes in your car. And this is, I didn't have the stamped part, but I keep stamps in my car. Have the note cards in your car, and stay sober enough that you're able to go back to your car immediately after the event, take out that business card you got from them, write their name on the envelope, open up and say, Jeff, it was great to see you today at the PR event. I was so excited to learn more about tow photography. Throw your business card in there. Now, I wasn't puking about me. I was talking about them, because this is marketing and PR, and it's about getting to know them, and put it in the mail. If you can drop it in the mail on the way home and it's like 7 o'clock, there's even a chance they might get it tomorrow, or very, very sure within 48 hours. How impressed would you be if you got a note card within 48 hours after meeting somebody? Handwritten? Would you notice them? Would you? And how expensive is that? Stamps is 44 cents. Nice business cards, by the way. Nice note cards, not dollar store note cards.